Welcome to Connecting Communities, a collaboration between people in Syracuse, New York, Bloomfield, New Jersey, and Makonda, South Africa. Connecting Communities provides people on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean an opportunity to learn more about one another through conversation, and to see, despite the 8,000 miles between us, we're more alike than we are different. This podcast is supported by the John Ben Snow Memorial Trust. For more information, go to unkululeko.org/podcast. Let's go.
If you guys would define what nepotism is to you guys and on this side as well.
Nepotism is the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives, friends, or associates, especially by giving them jobs. So that would be our best definition from Google.
Because it's a thin line between favoritism and nepotism. So I know nepotism has to do with getting a job, but favoritism is like getting other things in a job. So I don't know how to like differentiate from those things.
I think in America we have less nepotism as much of and I just said kind of like favoritism. Like it's not so much like giving your friends or relatives jobs, but like I think of it in like presidential elections of like when you have wealthy friends that pay into your campaign, then you're like more likely to get advertisement and people like see your face more than other faces. Like I think of it like more as that type of thing. Like if you have wealthy friends or like popular or like well-known relatives or friends, and they like tend to like give you funding or like encourage your name out in the public. I think it's just like kind of like what's that word called? Where you like know people, like networking. Like it's kind of like who your network is, and if it's a lot of like wealthy or well-known people, then like sometimes you're more known.
I just want to add on. Yesterday when we were talking about this, I didn't really know any good examples, but after like they kind of explained what it is to me, the example that I thought of is like sororities and fraternities, which is like it's like a group that you have to be like sworn into. Basically, you do it like it's in college, and you're in the. I believe you're in the group for the rest of your life, I think. And there's like a bunch of them. They're popular at like historically Black colleges, but they also have them at like predominantly white colleges too. But basically, like sororities are the girl version of it. It's the girl one, and fraternities are for the men. But I think that like with those, nepotism can kind of exist. I don't know if you want to call it that, but like when you're going for a job, if you put on your like resume that you're in that sorority, like that you're in one of those sororities, if like somebody that already works at that company is also in that sorority, regardless if they know you or not, they're gonna vouch for you and they're gonna like help you out in a way. But I don't know if it's so much of like networking. It kind of is like networking, but it's also like that's an advantage that another competitor could have. Like they could have something that makes them better for the job, but you're in the sorority and they vouched for you, so you could like get the job that way. I don't know. It's kind of networking, but
here in South Africa we have a lot of nepotism, and it's in each stages of municipality, both local and international, right? So our government, the parties involved, which is the ANC, has been in power for a long time, and particularly the people that get the more power are mostly the favorite people there that get the jobs, that get the money. That's the national nepotism. So local, like for nurses, for example, you apply for your job after your nursing council. If like you have someone in there who knows you, they vouch for you, even though they know you're not actually qualified for the job. It happens. I've seen it up front. And also nepotism can sometimes, maybe this is not it, but it can also happen with services, right? Like for like an example here in local clinics, if you have someone close with your nurses or the doctors, you get in first before the people because you're close with that person. It may not be nepotism, but it's also favoritism over general people. Even though they're supposed to serve everyone, they save the most one they want to serve first.
Add on to that, it's something very short. I think we've used the term here in South Africa. We're using the term that says it's not about what qualification you have, but who you know actually. So that's how the municipality of this country works. If you don't know anybody, it doesn't matter even if you studied for 12 years or whatever, studying for one thing, as qualified as you are, if you don't know anyone in that certain place that you want to get a job from, trust me, my darling, you stay at home and just watch the sun set and watch the sun rise all the time.
Background on nepotism. So it has three types, which is cadre deployment, patronage, and cronyism. They are different from each other, but they all result in the wrong person being employed for a job. Nepotism is the giving of jobs and other favors in business or politics on the basis of a family relationship first. Consideration of the suitability of the appointee for the job comes second. Cronyism is much the same, except that its friends who are lucky recipients of such favors. Patronage happens when a powerful person like our former president Jacob Zuma awards jobs and other favors to people who have supported his political campaign or party. Cadre deployment is the practice of appointing loyal party members into an independent or government institution or body as a means of keeping control of that institution. The cadre is accountable to the party, and the party comes first, sometimes even before the law, the constitution, and the public. It's often confused with patronage and cronyism. In South Africa, patronage and cadre deployment have been practiced by the dominant political party, the African National Congress, on a massive scale. Sorry. Okay.
Since we have summarized, we've defined what it is to be nepotism, right? So my question is, has any one of us on both floors experienced it, or have a relative that has experienced it?
I'm just doing a little bit more research on my laptop. Ms. Argus sent me on a quest down Google. So we actually have laws against nepotism. So in government officials, in doctors' offices, in a variety of other places in the workforce, nepotism is legal. So you can't hire anybody based on relativity or how you know them. Sometimes you can you can't, that can't be the only reason, especially if you know somebody and you suggest oh, you might like this job, my company just opened this position, you can suggest them, and sometimes companies will ask how you heard about a job, but they can't hire you based off of your relativity. So I think that's why it might be less of a problem here in America than it is to you guys in South Africa.
And I just want to add on, and I think that's why we're calling it networking so much instead of nepotism, because the points that we have explained that could be nepotism is more so just networking. It's about the foundation that you've built for yourself, going into that job, going into that interview.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of CTEs is to help with nepotism, kind of to introduce us to these fields and network in that way, so we wouldn't have to face it later on in life.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a big point that they stress here about networking and building a good foundation, going to those internships and like that.
Yeah, so we're saying that networking and knowing people can sometimes help you be introduced to a job, but you can't hire somebody based on relativity, being relatives.
I've seen a lot of businesses whereby there's nepotism, if I could say that. They would, just hire relatives from the family. It's a family business, and no one else from the outside will be part of the family business. Mm-hmm. So I take that as nepotism, because why? There are a lot of skills or better people than the family members, so why can't you hire them? So I see that as nepotism.
Based on what we've been saying on this topic, it just shows the basis, the difference between our two countries. Yeah, the difference between our two countries, right? Like you call it networking, we call it nepotism. For you, it's more like a good thing than a bad thing. While on our side, it's actually a bad thing because it also does contribute to unemployment for majority of people because it just goes down through generation. So it's like shows the difference that is America and this is South Africa.
So sometimes you have to sleep with someone in order to get a job, or if you're not sleeping with someone, you've got to bribe someone to just get a job. And it has been made so normal in our country that you have to do something in order to get something.
Are there any like steps being made towards solving this issue, or does it keep staying the same?
It's not changing. It's one problem that we face as a country, which would explain the high unemployment rate in our country, because to be honest, some of us don't have money to pay for a job, and some of us, my dignity, I will not sleep with anyone just because I want a job. I can't. So we'll just stay at home and just go with the flow, because if you get anyone arrested, there's going to be a lot of issues. It's either they're going to bribe the police officers to get them out or something else, but they just find a way to make their cases disappear. So anything that you try, you're just not you don't have anything positive about it.
Nepotism contributes a lot because of people don't get the necessary jobs that they need to get into because of people that know people, which is you call networking, right? And I think there have been some laws that were put in place in South Africa. In fact, we were taught about them in business studies, that they shouldn't be more than people that choose a surname in a company, because of that would be exploiting the roles of the BCEA, and which the company could face penalties if they don't comply with it. And then one thing I think nepotism contributes into is poverty. People suffer and they don't have the money to buy themselves needs and wants because of their families chooses to give them jobs because of their blood. And then which is wrong, and I think it's wrong, and there's no reasons after it because of it's wrong and it's wrong.
South Africa, it has become like a daily lifestyle for us, right? So I'm not sure if they tried to do some changes about it. Maybe they did, but I do not know them, so I won't lie to you and say they didn't. But for us South Africans, it has like become a daily lifestyle that nepotism is a daily thing. And also another problem with it is that since everyone is doing it, then you also do it. That's just the mentality of South Africans. If she can do it, then I can do it. So that's how it also just becomes a daily lifestyle, because everyone's just doing it, and we'll end up doing it.
Into a quote, we say, if you can't beat them, join them. So that is how we close off our session for today. Much to everyone that participated, and please thank the rest of you guys. So we hope you guys will be prepared, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Of course.